Hello viewers, this is Jasreet, Kaur and you are watching Coffee with Jasreet. So we have a very special guest over here, Anil sir, who is Assistant Professor in BBA Department of Inspira Knowledge Campus. So we welcome you, sir.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Sir, so tell us about yourself.
I'm an economist by profession. I did my MPhil from IIT Bombay in Planning and Development and worked in almost for 6 years in a semi-corporate research institute. And after that I thought, why don't I become a teacher? So I'm here right now for the past 3 years now.
Okay, sir.
Working as an assistant professor.
Sir, you are from South,
Yeah.
so what do you feel here? Is it better or South is better?
Oh no, I won't compare both of the two. South has its own charms and the Northeast has its own charms. Like, we have your mountains and springs and streams over here. Whereas we have got coconut trees and fields and, good, great food also over there. That's how I would say.
You being an economist professor, sir, so
Yeah.
what do you think about the recent budget made? And what do you think about the GDP constantly falling down?
Well, I'll talk about the GDP first. The GDP is at around 5% and possibly even a bit more lower than that. But I think that's the lowest that it can go. It's bottomed out. It will only go up from now on. And I think you will see it in the second half of the year itself, that it's going up. And coming to the second part of the question, which is related to the GDP, I believe the budget is in the right direction in the sense that at least it is looking out for the marginalized section, as well as by abolishment of the dividend taxes by the corporate. It means that they are trying to put purchasing power back into the people's hand. That is one side. But at the same time, I would also like to say that one of the reasons why this slowdown happened in the first place is because of the slowdown in the financial markets, and that affected the corporates as well. So unless you address that, I would say that it will take a long time.
Okay, sir. So you being a professor, what do you suggest your students after the
After BBA?
BBA? Yeah, sir.
Yeah, so after the BBA, I usually tell them to work for a year or so that they understand where they want to go in their career, in the future as well. Some of them are a little bit, they are usually confused as to what do I do now, Lakshya kya hai, the same questions that everybody has once they finish their graduate and their 12th. So I usually tell them to work for a year or two and then see what the market is asking you to do and where you want to go in the future, what kind of skills you want extra, and then go for your MBA or further studies. That's what I usually tell.
How do you help your students, sir, to cope up with their studies?
Usually I tell them, since I'm from the corporate and I'm from the industry background, I tell them what the industry wants, what the industry requires, in the sense like, for example, big data, analytics. These are the things that their business reports. These are the things that they want. So I tell them the gaps which are there, which they do not get from any other source. So, and also tell them the opportunities which are existing in the world. For example, many of them do not know that you can do an MA English also in IIT Bombay. Nobody would even realize that an engineering institute will offer you something like this. So that's something which I do with my students. I give them these news and opportunities as to where they can apply.
So as you see many schemes coming up, so what do you think about Make in India?
The government scheme Make in India,
Yes,
right? Rather than Make in India, I would say it's more of an Assemble in India program, simply because companies are using it, like Xiaomi and all, they were using it to, import all their, pieces, their small chips and all, and then assemble it in India and use the funds of Make in India program for that. Of late, new startups as well as the Indian startups are applying for it, but most of them are applying for tax benefits and just to get that initial, investor funding. After that, there's nothing happening with the product cycle or the product development. So that's a worrying part. And I'm not so sure how much of funds have been already dispersed during this Make in India program, but I assure you it's not much. So I feel that there's something missing in this program. Maybe the government can take a look into it. Maybe a kind of review process should be done as to what has happened to the projects which have been helped with this Make in India. How much has it helped out? A study has to be done. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I think the same, sir.
Yeah.
So thank you, sir, for coming here. This is the end of the program and we'll meet again with more interviewers. Till then, stay tuned and take care.